Monica. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, me too. Thank you. I'm really grateful, like super grateful.
Hey, how can I best support you today?
I realized that I have like two main connected questions.
Mhm.
Um, and like the first one that I want to start with, because I think it's like the root of what my challenge is. It's like I feel like I'm constantly straddling two worlds. Two worlds being like when I go into to meditation and intuition, like it's super clear and I'm really connected to it. I could feel it. Like everything is like almost tangible. And then when I try to iterate and create in the physical world is where I meet so much opposition and challenges. And so the second one that's branched off of that is like I've been in practice for off and on for a decade. Like I've been fortunate to be able to have like a private practice, and I work with trauma recovery and somatics. That's my jam. That's my love. And while I was going to grad school, and since I completed about a year and a half ago, I feel like I'm still in this constant attempt to create and iterate and like prototype. And it's exciting when I go into like the vision and what I see is possible. And like I can really like the steps in the process feel so clean and clear. And then when I execute it in the world, it never actually takes traction. So that's where I am. And so any guidance or feedback on how to either blend the two or to be in more harmony,
Mhm.
as well as to actually get traction. So I'm not constantly like I feel like I'm in survival constantly. I'm constantly creating, I'm constantly trying to create and I'm on the treadmill and I'm tired. So
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. And okay, so can we get a little bit more granular with what happens on the implementation side when you go to actually create it in the world? Is it that you are challenged to create it, or you do create it and it doesn't land the way you expected it to?
I do create it and it just doesn't land as in like attracting clients or attracting people in the groups. Like even right now, I did a program I ran once and it went really, really well. And I invited by word of mouth and referral to the first round. And then the second time, I'm trying to go cast my net past that. And I've gotten like nobody has stepped forward and in creating it, like creating the websites and the messages. I am honestly really proud of like the feeling, like the people that I showed it to, they can feel me, they can feel my work in what I'm sharing. So that part is going. However, to get others to step in, to get the right people, the right students to step in, that's where I'm struggling
Mhm.
to the next step.
Okay. So when you see this in the ethereal world, we'll call it, and you're in the vision of it and you see it, how are you seeing it? Are you seeing like the specific steps of what to do? And then you take those steps and then you're putting them into this world. And it's like, this isn't clicking in for, it's clicking in like the energy's there, sounds like,
Yeah,
right? But it's not clicking in like the receptive part. The other part is there.
exactly.
Okay. So when you're in this realm, I'm going to just keep using these two sides just so that we can
Totally okay.
um, when you are in this side of things, do you feel the energy of the clients?
hmm
And what does that feel like?
It feels expansive. It feels exciting. Like right now, I can feel like energized as well as I feel like this harmony of connection. Oh, I feel both. I feel like the energy and I feel like this groundedness that is both happening at the same time when I connect with like not just all of them, but I connect each one individually.
Mm-hmm. And then when you come over into like the tangible, what happens with clients? Do you feel, are there people that you're like, oh, I do feel that with you? And are they connecting in?
Um, Even like right now, when I connect with the same people in the real, the physical world, it lessens and it reduces.
Mm-hmm.
Some I can still feel, some feel I can still feel the same. And others who I felt that strong connection to over here, it lessens and reduces, almost dims a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I know that this probably isn't going to make sense to all the people that watch this video, but I have a feeling it will make sense to you. And it might make sense to some other people. But my sense of what is actually happening energetically that could shift is that over here, the reason it feels like it's dimming a little bit is that I actually would love for you to bring the energy up from the ground up. It feels like it's coming across and towards them, but they are not as they're not shielded. It's not like they're like trying to block it, but there's just too much here. Like there's too, like they have too much this.
That
And
makes so much sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I want, if you brought the energy down and up, right? If you brought it from here, like through the words, but aimed those into the earth and invited that earth energy to come up through those people, I feel like they would feel again that connection with you.
Yeah.
Like they did here. Like it's like, oh, they just are missing that part because there's all this in the way and you're trying to meet them like this and they can't actually feel it. And that's why you're like, I can't actually always feel it the same here either. But it's just because there's this static in this.
Yeah.
And it actually doesn't, to me, feel like it's static in your system, which is, there's like good news, bad news. Like the good news, no static in your system. The bad news is that you can't actually fix other people's static without their request to, right? It's like, I
Right.
can't fix your static unless you've specifically asked me to. I'm not going to mess with your energy, but you can bring your energy kind of down and up so that they can still receive it, so that they can feel you again.
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. And even about the static, because I was talking to one of the potential people to step in, and what she was naming as static was basically like her world is so busy and so full. And so it's not that she does not have the desire to, she doesn't have the ability to. Although my question that's connected to that, like I understand energetically how to change and connect differently. And I still have like the practical part of me as well, is like I can do that. And are there like practical steps that I can do or things that I can do that also can help align that? Is that
Yeah.
that makes sense?
Yes. So the practical thing that you might consider doing is inviting people into an experience with you, like a static free experience that you can create, an
Mhm.
energetic, like, oh, this is clear. Would you like to come in and come in here for like as a free experience? Maybe it's an hour-long experience with you so that they can actually experience the feeling that it will be like to be working with you and without that in the way.
Yeah.
And so I would consider in creating some sort of free experience for people to get to feel you more and to feel that what you're going to be, where you're going to be taking them so that they can connect into their yes for that, if it's true for them.
Yeah. And to step it back, even one step back,
Mhm.
because that is kind of where I'm at of inviting people into a free experience. So um, that is just experiential and they can have their own uh, felt sense of it. And I haven't had success in even getting people to step into the yes to something that's a free container that they can experience.
Tell me about the free container.
It is like right now, what it is like it's an open house. And so there's 4 different opportunities for people to step in. One day they can do a guided somatic meditation or just connecting to themselves and be held. The second day is actually creating, as like I call it co-creating. So it's connecting to themselves and just intuitive drawing and creation and artwork, that how that ever aligns to either artist or their business work. And then like the third day is support. So you can drop in and receive intuitive guidance and support that way. And the fourth one is for integration. So it's movement and somatic. Yeah, it's movement and anything to integrate all the stuff in the work that we've done over the week.
Mhm. And is this in person?
Online.
Online. Okay. I don't know, like I'm gonna give you the answer that I absolutely would not have thought, but I feel is that it's actually I think people may feel guilty not paying you for that. Like they're like I would be like, as you were saying that, I was like, oh, I want to go. I would feel weird about going and not paying. Like it actually seems like there's a little disconnect between, like I almost want to be like, let's just do one thing that's 1 hour long that's free. That
Mhm.
can feel like come in, have this incredible, like mind-blowing experience that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that was free. Right. But I would shorten it. I would just make one simpler thing
Mhm.
because I do just feel like that feels like such a like a program like I would pay for, and that maybe people feel a little like, oh, there's a little disconnect about whether or not I should pay for that. So I'm wondering if it just to try, because most of being an entrepreneur is trial and error. It's like, let's try shortening it up, making
Yeah.
one event and inviting people into it and letting them know like what the result will be, right? Rather than talking so much about what the experience will be. We
Mhm.
can have a little bit of that, but more what is the result that they're going to have at the end of the experience,
Yeah.
and seeing if that lands a little bit more with people so that you can start to, and you can repeat that event, right? I wouldn't let people know it was a repeated event because then people delay because that's how humans are. But rather say like, this is the one, it's happening in June, it's going to be so fun. So they come, have this amazing experience, and you can invite them into the next thing with you, working with you personally or working in your group program that you're creating.
Yeah. So shortening it down just to one and having that as the free experience. And then after that, then they have the option of however, if they feel right, it's a full yes to how to work with me more.
Yeah. And I think that the more that you bring forward that energy, right, that you're so good at, you're like, I'm good at bringing this energy forward, actually. And I would just bring it forward into that container and allow yourself to be really open. And um, just like a little, like, housekeeping is just to also every time something doesn't work to just learn and release it and move forward, because as entrepreneurs this is the greatest skill that we can build, is failing and having it not mean anything. Like, oh,
Mm.
okay, that didn't work, let me see, like, let me switch some things and try again. Okay, let me switch some things and try again. I cannot tell you how many free events I did that had like basically two of my friends there that I was like, if you don't come, I'm going to be so embarrassed if somebody else comes. So you have to come, because otherwise it's just going to be me and this one other person, and I'm going to die of embarrassment. Right. Where now I would not die of embarrassment. I would be fine. But back then I was like, I must. And it happened so many times.
Mhm.
And I just learned to go again. It's like tweak it and go again and tweak it and go again. Is
Mhm.
it like persistence? Like it's not depending on, I'm not doing this business depending on whether or not this works. I'm doing it no matter what, and I'm going to tweak it until it works. And that level of devotion is unusual, and it's what really creates success, I think. I mean, I did a free event last night, and there are 3,500 people that signed up. And I'm like, wow, if Briana of like the begging her friends to come knew that, it would have been easier for me to keep going. I would have been like, no problem. Instead, I had to like be like, okay, go again. Okay, go again. But just to see the vision, right? That eventually this part is going to be so easy. And you're going to look back on this time and be like, oh, now I get to tell this story to other people about how challenging this was. And like, who do I want to be in this moment? Right. If I'm going to tell this story later, how do I want to tell it? And I'm going to live that life, my life, and I'm going to do the thing the way I want to tell this story later, so that I can feel really secure and like proud of myself, and also help other people through that, because I have no doubt that you will.
No, that's really, really helpful. All of that is like really helpful.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, thank you. I feel like your question led to so many very important variables for so many people. So thank you for bringing it forward because I'm sure it helped a lot of people besides just you. And I'm just so excited to see what the free event is that you create. If you want to send me a link to it so I can see it once you create it, I would love to celebrate you and just know that you're just going to iterate and go again and it's going to build.
Thank you. Absolutely. I thank you for offering it to send it on. But thank you so much.